morning. Welcome back to GP Outdoors. It's a beautiful day. This is one of the few trees that's left that is really close to my cabin and of course right beside my parking area. And over the last number of years I've been watching it slowly leaning a little more and a little more. And after the last big night of winds we had, she's swinging like crazy. I'd rather take it down now than to try to take it off the top of my pickup truck. One of the reasons I've decided to take it down this summer is because we've got a pretty severe lean to it. I'm terrible at doing plunge cuts, and I don't want to wait if it ends up continuing to lean and start to topple or start to create a lot of tension where I might have a risk of a barber chair. I'm not too good at that. So I think I'm in a much safer position to cut it down now before it gets that far. Today I'm going to take you through start to finish. I'm also going to tell you the things that I think about or the things I do when I go back to work in the forest, with the clear understanding that I am not an expert, I'm not a forester, I'm not an arborist, I'm certainly no sawyer. I'm learning and I've got a piece of property just like you good folks. So first things first, tree sitting here right at the end of my parking area. Although it's highly unlikely it's going to fall this way because there's no wind today, and I certainly wouldn't be felling trees in the wind. If it had a lean that was closer to this side, I would probably tether it to another tree, but it's got a pretty good lean into the driveway, so it's virtually impossible, at least improbable, that it's going to come all the way this way. What I will do though is clear out all my equipment, my pickup truck. The area is clear. So things that I think about, first, really important thing, no wind today. I take a look at the surrounding area. In this case here, although I'm not great at reading trees, because it's a skill, You know, you can see a lot of weight on one side and think it's going to fall that way, and it may not. And I'm certainly not experienced enough to be able to aim trees and drop them exactly where I want them. This guy here, he's got a pretty hard lean and a lot of weight on this side, so I'm 99% sure it's falling somewhere in this area. And that's certainly the way I'm going to cut it, to try to see if I can favor that lean. I'm going to be dropping it this way, so I want to make sure I've got an escape route, at least one. So I want to make sure that this area around me is clear so I can run this way or I can run that way, away from the cut. For me, I'm going to cut right around here between waist and chest height. I know a lot of people have criticized or left comments asking me why I'm leaving all this wood and I'm not cutting at the ground level. We don't leave the wood. I'll eventually come back at some point and cut the stump. The reason I cut up here is because I'm still learning. You folks know I've got some hip and lower back issues, and some days it's just not good for me to bend down, and I'm not comfortable bending down. So I think one of the most important things is to make sure you can get good footing, and you cut at whatever height is most comfortable or safe for you to cut at. Much rather cut it here and then come back and cut it down and get the rest of the wood later. It only takes a few minutes. I love heading out in the forest and bucking and splitting wood, but I learned a long time ago that you have a whole lot nicer day if you're prepared for it. Before I leave, I always make sure that I've got a clean saw and a sharp saw. Make sure she's full of 2-in as well as oil, and I start it up before I leave. You folks will remember there was a couple of videos last summer where we got everything all ready, hauled the trailers way back into the back of Guy's acres, and Guy couldn't start his Husky twice. Much better to find out you have a problem before you leave the house than after you get back in the forest. Just makes your day so much nicer. And for me, I saved the best or most important thing for last. Still to this day, although I've felled dozens of trees, I learn something new almost every single time. It's a skill, and it takes a long time to learn. So unless it's a really small little tree that I'm just cutting down, I never ever fell or drop a tree by myself. I called for backup. If you look in your manual, you'll probably see a section in there, and it'll tell you that if the saw is running and you're not cutting, that chain brake should always be engaged. I use it religiously. You only have to trip over a root in the forest once with that saw running, and you'll start using it too. The second thing is you'll see I'll always throw that saw behind me, so the bar is facing behind me. It's also in your manual. It says whenever you walk with the saw, you should always walk with it facing backwards. I gotta work on this swing though, because it's probably not a good idea to be swinging the chain into my body as I swing it behind me. I'm right-handed, so it's a bit of a habit. So I'm working on it now to turn with two hands. I'll get the hang of it soon. That's probably going to be record time with these two old pros with me. We did all of that, got her in and trailered in just over an hour. Nice work. I feel a lot better taking that tree down. You start to see just how much of it was rot. You could tell there was something wrong with it. As I said, I'm no forester, but after a few years you start to get used to seeing what your trees are doing and how much they're leaning or how they're changing as each year go by. And I'm glad I got that down now because it looks kind of like it was definitely on its way. And a big thanks to Bob and Guy for sticking around and sneaking a little more firewood off me. Thanks for sticking around. If you like the channel, please click subscribe, hit the like button, and if you want to know when I'm posting videos, just click that little bell. A wonderful and safe week with your families. Please be kind to one another. I'll see you again on the next one, right here on GP Outdoors. Cheers.